Welcome to Fashion ÉCOLE. In today's video, we are going to learn about the art of lace applique. Creativity is not a hobby, it's a way of life. After the break, we will see how creative we can get with laces.
To dream, Fashion Masterclass Africa is bringing to you the ultimate online learning program. Complete our full corsetry class under the course Contour Fashion, a pragmatic experience that will take your craftsmanship to the next level. Intriguing lessons on fabrications, pattern cutting, construction techniques, finishes, and many more. The genius Dr. Clement Asemnyra will be revealing a lot of the secrets and tricks used by couturiers in couture design. The ultimate opportunity to watch lessons at your own pace from any part of the world if you have an ambition to become a highly skilled professional. Get technical support throughout your entire learning process. Let your dreams become a reality with the help of Fashion Masterclass Africa. Sign up today. Visit us on www.fashionmasterclassafrica.com.
Welcome back from the break. Lace applique is a very beautiful technique in couture design. Your ability to study laces, know what to use and how to remove their motifs and custom make them or use them to create your beautiful pieces is so blissful. Today we're going to see some of the laces appropriate for applique work. Obviously we need embroidered laces. Embroidered laces give you beautiful motifs that you can really work with when you want to custom pieces in gowns, bridal party pieces, basic dresses, but you want to give that kind of couture feel. Embroidered laces are the go-to fabrics. Looking at this design was created by myself. I used this very lace to make this piece in the year 2020 when I was bored during lockdown. This piece has a vachitous rod. On the vachitous rod, I took out these 3D patterns from the lace and mounted them on the rod. On the bonings, as you see, I have this effect, this circular effect with the pelted streams. I fixed these details on the boning. And on the cage arcs, I used the edging of the lace. You could see this scallop arcs here. That is a very arc you see on the cage direction. If you look at this design well and you haven't seen this fabric, you will never think I picked this out of this fabric. So it means you can get creative by removing appliques from any given defined fabric, preferably lace, to customize your work. You can also look at this look. This was created by a designer in Ghana, Pistis. The whole design looks so, bold and very dramatic. The laces on the bodice on the bride were all applique beautifully. This was removed from an embroidered lace. Other ornamentations were added to give it that beautiful effect. This beautiful design, also created by Ricardo by me from Nigeria, also did justice to the lacing applique from the entire neck area to the whole bodice area to the skirt, spreading it on to the attachment from the knee line. These are all custom made or applique designs removed from defined or high-end laces to give these definitions to these pieces. So first, you want to make a customized design from bridal, parties, and what have you. When you buy laces like this is an embroidered lace. You can look at the pattern. So if you look at this very pattern, just take a look at this. From this point to this point, observe the shape and look at the motif I have here and here. So I can fix this entire shape from this part down I can remove this entire thing and applique it on the center front. I'll make sure this portion is touching the nipple. This part is also touching the other nipple. So it's going to be balanced, and I'll have this whole sterile rods V shape coming down here on the underbust, and having this even bypass the waistline. So I can remove this and create justice with it. The other motifs as well could be removed and placed at other positions on the gown to give it a beautiful feel. Meaning when you want to customize a piece, look out for the motifs in the lace. The motifs in the lace will influence the direction to go. Probably you want to do an attachment at the hip area. You have to study a motif, or you have to choose a motif that can balance or drop very well when you plot it at the hip area. If you want to put something at the bust, you don't just pick any motif and position it at the bust. Observe the bust. What do you want to see? What do you want to communicate? Maybe you want to see elegance, so it means going for curves. So when you position it along that path, we see that definition of elegance you want to communicate. If you look at this as well, this has the motifs all placed. You just have like 3 designs: the edging, the inner bay, and even the inner bay you can actually divide it. If you look at this lace as well, this has 3D floral patterns, and it has feather surface ornamentation of beadings in it. So you can take off this entire thing, place it at various positions on the piece to bring it out like you used to do. So this is it. This lace also has very detailed motifs. You can take off the motif, you can separate these entire pieces and work with them separately. Now that we've seen samples of laces that can be used to applique, preferably embroidered lace, we need to understand how to remove this lace and also portion or section them on the given garment.
Dear designer, you deserve some sewing excitement in your design process. Shop at Soulgasm GH for your authentic, trusted sewing accessories, studio aids, and couture fabrications. We don't only sell to you, we provide valuable consultation services to enable you choose the right product for your project. Visit our page on Instagram at Soulgasm Ghana to see available stock items. Call us or WhatsApp us on 0592 309576. Email us on soulgasmghana@gmail.com. Have a fabulous sewing gasm.
We are now moving on to how to applique. So first, before you applique, we will study the motifs like I said earlier. So I have this given piece here. If you look at this piece, this is a tool-made piece, and it has the laces appliqued beautifully on it. You can see how the lace have been appliqued. Someone can equally use this lace, place them in a different direction or angles, and the result will be different from what you see. So your own creative drive or your direction will also influence the final result, how you understand motif placement. So if you have a given lace like this and you want to work with it, you're going to do what we call blocking. What we do is pick the fabric. There's a portion cut out from a bigger lace. You can see the effect we have here. What you do first is to block out your pattern. So you're going to block by cutting out. When you cut a pattern out like this from the lace, take off the excess a bit. You don't just work with this. So you have to take this excess off a bit. When you're done, I recommend an embroidery scissors. This is an embroidery scissors. Embroidery scissors are small enough to hit or move around corners. You need an embroidery scissors to take off excess of the net or the mesh in between the patterns. So I go in, just cut. This needs time. So we'll take excess off like this. Our next stage is to remove the motif out by taking off all meshes or tulle or net beneath your pattern. And what we usually use is a soldering iron. So coming to this, we have types of soldering iron in the market. We have the ones you can regulate and the one you cannot regulate. For the purposes of this work, I recommend the types you can regulate. So this, you can't regulate this. Usually when you plug it, you only see the working tip lighted in fire. That will make you know it's on. This type, you can easily regulate this. It comes with a regulator. So you can actually regulate it. And it's good to use this because you can set the heat and it makes working very easy. One thing you also have to know is this particular type comes with tips. When you're working with lasers like Venetia or Groupure lace, which have very textured motifs, you have to pick the broader one. The broader one has this thick firm of a tip. This. It cuts the lasers out extremely well. You see how it is. Then we have this type as well. The edge looks like a shank, like a nozzle for piping. This type is also appropriate when you are working with Alençon lace. You know Alençon lace has this corded effect. So when you are cutting around it, you need a base that is tilted around the cord, so you can use this as well. But with the regular ones just comes with this pivoted edge. The pivoted edge is more or less like a universal tip you can apply on all types of lasers. And with this, what we are going to do is this. A lot will cut out the fabric, or a lot will put this fabric down and use this to remove. The reason why it's wrong to do that is the edge will end up picking or melting the tool. And the more you melt up tool on the blade or the tips, the darker patterns you get. You see designs on social media in white or lighter colors, and you see the lace having edges looking darker. This is because you refuse to remove this. And I mentioned, make sure you take off the tool at the edge. When you're using the tool, it should just take minimum melting of the tool around, instead of trying to melt a whole fabric all around. And you don't even clean the tips. So a very good way to go is make sure you have this. This is steel wool. Steel wool is locally used in domestic homes. We use this in, scrubbing and cleaning our saucepans in the home. It's called steel wool. It's very good and appropriate. Once you are taking off the lace and you realize the tip is getting darker, you just crush your steel wool, put it at the tip, and then drag it off to take the darkened or melted mesh or tool around it. Just hold the tip and remove it before you continue. Once you don't take it off and you still work along, you end up getting the edges looking darker. Also, a lot of designers remove lasers putting this on plates. Please note, most of the plates we use are ceramics. And you know, when they are baking ceramics, we have what we call glazing process. They provide or pour some kind of finish on it before baking it. And that finish, when you heat or you're working with this and it's stick on it, it has a way it scrapes off the glaze on the plate. And it also contributes to the darkness effect you get around your lace. So don't use ceramics when you are removing lasers. It's recommended to use clear or plain glasses. This is a microwave plate, so if you have an old microwave, you can just take off the plate and it's best to go with. So kindly note that when you're removing the lasers, you need a glass. The glass will just have scrapes, but there is no glaze on the glass. So we are good to go to see how we take off our motifs from our work. Okay, so I'm ready to remove or take the excess tool or mesh around the motif. This is regulatable, so I'm putting this It has a marking here. I want to work with 350 degrees Celsius. So I've just fixed that in. That is a normal stage I want to do. The heat will be so set low. So you're going to work around, you just have to steady your motif and then you move along it, just taking off the excess. This needs time and patience. I mean, beautiful things needs time. You don't have to rush when you are working on stuff like this. That is the only way you can have the motifs coming well or coming out very beautifully. So you see, I have a little tool attached and you can even see the smoke. So if you have something like this happen, you pick your steel wool, don't continue working. Clean the tip. Clean the tip. Don't continue working when you see tool or darkened spot. I go ahead. So you have to be removing the edges as you work along. So now that I'm done, there is one thing a lot of designers don't also do. Once they take the excess off, they forget to remove the inner lasers, because the inner lasers may give a different reflection when you put this on the fabric. So you go in, all the meshes within the motifs or all the tools you see, take them off entirely. It makes your piece look very beautiful when you position it on the garment. But the very, very little ones, you can leave them. But the broader area, take them off. You clean as you go. So now, I have my lace well removed. You can see it.